Hello, my name's Neil Spears. I had a great conversation with a customer this morning. They were looking for a photographer to help them with a big event that they're doing, and they wanted somebody that was capable of taking headshots of people who are not necessarily comfortable in front of the camera. Now, that's something I deal with all the time as I'm dealing with the various clients that I have. And I related a story of one client that I had a few years ago where she came into my studio. She needed 3 photos that would be used for various parts of her business. But the first words out of her mouth were, "I break cameras." Have you ever said that? Or do you know somebody that said that? Yeah, because I hear that an awful lot. What did I do? Well, I helped her through that. And as she saw the photos coming up, she became so excited to see these new photos in ways that she hadn't thought that she looked before. And she started to bounce. And instead of 3 photos, she bought 10. So it is possible to get beyond that. That's easier said than done, as they say. So how do we go about becoming more confident in front of the camera? And I use the word confidence in very specific terms because being photogenic has nothing to do with physical looks 99.9% of the time. What does make you photogenic is being confident. And I've seen this time and time and time again. I've seen incredibly beautiful people who are not confident photograph terribly, and I've seen fairly plain people photograph brilliantly. So the difference was some were confident and some were not. So how do we develop this confidence? How do we get to that point where we don't care about our looks? Well, the first thing is to accept that your looks are your looks. You know, there are going to be people who are heavier than you and people who are lighter than you. There are people who are taller than you, who are less tall than you, who have different bone structures. You know, they may have what you perceive as a better bone structure. Other people who with that bone structure think that your bone structure is better. The physical looks really don't matter. What we perceive as being beautiful is completely different to what other people see as beautiful. So ask yourself, is it that important to be beautiful? Or is it enough that you're pleasing to some people? Obviously, you're pleasing to some people. Some people are your friends, some people are your lovers, some people are your family and they love you. So, is it good enough? And when it's good enough, then forget the rest. Now, the other thing is you may have that little voice on your shoulder saying, you're not this, or you're not that, or you're too this, or you're too that. I suggest you have a little conversation with that voice. You say, hello, voice. Maybe you give it a name. Maybe you don't. Hello, voice. Thank you so much for your concern. I know that you're telling me these things because you want me to be safe. But it's time for you to move on. I need to move beyond what you're telling me. I am safe and I am confident, but I do appreciate that you're concerned for me. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your concern, but it's time you move on. Now, you may have to do that a few times, but those little tricks to convince your inner mind it's really not that bad. Whatever it takes, remember your looks are your looks, and that's okay. You are beautiful for who you are, and nobody can take that away from you. And some people celebrate that. So please remember, confidence beats everything else. And when you can portray that confidence, you are photogenic. You are the person who can be in front of a crowd explaining something. You can lead people. Your physical looks have very little to do with that. It's about your confidence.